Linksys, formerly owned by Cisco, makes a great router. Personally, I'm using an Apple Airport Extreme, which is a great base station that I've found. I like their software. If you're going to be going with wireless, you definitely want to go with wireless N. If you can get a dual band router, that helps as well, especially if you're in an area with a lot of interference. That 5 gigahertz signal will really help out when you're trying to connect through a lot of 2.4 gigahertz signals out there. A lot of cordless phones will use that, and using that VSS technology, sometimes they can sort of bounce into your router signal, which can cause a bit of a problem. As far as your ISP goes, you definitely want to take a quick look and see what your connection is to the local Valve server. Do a quick ping test, and when you get into game, you can actually type -ping to see what your lag to the server is like.
And a little bit of advice to follow up on that. Earmuffs, children, be sure you turn any pornography on in the background off before jumping into Dota 2, as it may impede gameplay. And be sure that if you're torrenting anything, you pirates out there, make sure that you turn those off as well.
Or at least wear a protective eye patch.
I personally roll with the shoestring styrofoam cup internet. And I actually, like on Dota specifically, I use a light bright as my monitor.
High quality, high resolution, and lots of customizability.
Yeah, the frame rate's awful though. Several hours to update the screen, but
I mean, when you get the money, you'll be able to update to an Etch-a-Sketch, and you're just one shake away from a quick kill.
These players are far more patient. I think by this point I would be going like a pirate myself. I would be cursing like a sailor. Or at least unpausing through the game, probably.
It's obviously, I mean, there have been some disconnects here, so you do have to feel bad for the players involved, but, in the meantime, we get to chat about great things like high-quality internet connections.
Oh, Crystal Maiden. I suppose inferior is not a terrible name, as her internet appears to be inferior.
But wearing some dashing cosmetics there, so that's a good choice.
I don't know, she kind of looks like she's being choked or smothered. I don't know if I'd be able to breathe if I was wearing a get-up like that.
Let's,
I actually... Yeah, go ahead.
Reminds me of Mitch Hedberg, the line there, wearing a turtleneck is like being strangled by a really weak midget. And wearing a turtleneck with a backpack is like a really weak midget that's trying to bring you down.
Doom is actually rocking a pretty sweet-looking outfit, I think, right now.
That's the, is that the Eye of Omaz, the new sword? I think it is.
It's possible, sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna go on the record and say I don't know. you are way more of the Barbie doll, user than I am. I have my nature's prophet, and he's very pretty. Crystal Maiden coming back into the game right now. Sorry, go ahead, Grant.
That is the most exciting thing that has happened so far in the 2 minutes and 34 seconds of gameplay that we've had. I'm definitely looking forward to them hitting F9 any second now.
I like to imagine that okay is kind of like a valley girl or a sorority girl. Okay, like okay. Okay. And
so now we've got Earthshaker heading down the river.
Venomimaster's still going on his little walk and still level 1 as well.
Yeah.
Maybe making a huge mistake here, not getting any experience, not making any decisions on where to go.
Not sure if he's having difficulty figuring out where to ward. And there comes Crystal Maiden.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they even need a ward right now. Their other ward is had.
It's still got half its life on it. Interesting. Just a walk about a Billabong. Interesting.
I think that they were seeing if they could be sneaky on either Viper or Earthshaker. Like they're coming up on Earthshaker right now. So, and they smoked. Do you see that?
Indeed. We've got 6 stacks of Necromastery down on Shadow Fiend in mid, and you can see that he's starting to push back on Viper just a little bit. So with 2 smoked heroes, there was a ward out there on behalf of the Radiant, so it's quite possible that Earthshaker did see them smoke up and is expecting them to close on him any moment now.
Yeah. The other thing I would like to point out just real fast, if you open up the game stats view just real quick.
Sort of interrupt, but they have decided to go on Earthshaker. There's a slow out from Crystal Maiden, Juggernaut coming in with the spin, and there will be some quick damage to put him down.
First blood. And it's already
Venomancer's in a little bit of trouble there. He got caught by the tower, and he's actually running back. I think he's going to die because of it. Yeah, that was a huge mistake.
Tower is under attack.
Venomancer could have gotten away scot-clean if he had just gone through the river. I think Viper was popping up with the haste rune, but no, I don't know. Maybe he would have died either way.
There was some action as Shadow Fiend did come down to bot and put Anti-Mage in his place as he did overextend.
Just real fast, I hate to interrupt you here, but Viper just throwing out just massive amounts of his poison attack, ends up killing both Juggernaut and Crystal Maiden, and another pause goes out. While the pause is out, just real fast, I would like to point out the creep kills. If you use the game stats window just real fast, the Radiant side is dominating right now. I mean, just absolutely destroying. Jug has a couple, and so does Mirana, who's in that double lane bottom, but everybody on the Radiant team, with the exception of Ancient Apparition, has over 10 creep kills. So doing a really good job of keeping the Dire team down, with Crystal Maiden and Venomancer both not having any, and Shadow Fiend also only having 7, which is surprising for mid. It's also really bad for Shadow Fiend. I mean, he needs those kills.
And we are back in just a moment. So 3-2 in a very rapid fashion. We saw Anti-Mage drop, and obviously 3 kills up top, making for a somewhat balanced match, yet a bit messy.
Yeah, and you're going to get a little bit of that mess. These are people who are not really used to working with each other. They're kind of trying new strats, and or they just, you know, maybe they're relatively new to the game. And despite taking a lot of damage here, Anti-Mage is doing a fairly good job on farm.
And we will see Venomancer put the hurt on him just a touch. Mirana slowed right now by Ancient Apparition. And the creeps will intervene on behalf of Anti-Mage, giving him some breathing room.
Well, he spit out that Venomous Gale, but it just wasn't enough. They didn't convert, and I didn't see an arrow go out by Mirana, which was a little surprising. If you're a Mirana, one of the big things you want to be doing is actually, I mean, you can still try to get this farm, there's nothing wrong with that, but move to the wings, move to the sides, try to fire some arrows to get that stun off. The stun is a significant time portion, and it increases based off the range, so.
So currently right now we've got 17 stacks of Necromastery on Shadow Fiend, and Viper again doing his best to zone him out of XP. Up top we will see Juggernaut going head-to-head against Earthshaker, but backing off.
Venomancer.
That Fisher.
Venomancer kind of lost here in the Radiant jungle. I think he may be trying to get the jump out on Viper, but without having any sort of stun, I don't think he's going to be able to do enough damage. So he just has a slow.
Venomancer level 2, Viper level 7. It seems like a poor matchup, really, and Earthshaker will come mid. See what
Doom
kind of damage he can do.
Doom in the meantime continuing to jungle. Doom a very strong jungler. Shadow Fiend coming up as well from behind. I think Earthshaker saw. Yep, he definitely did.
And there's a slow out and double damage from Shadow Fiend. That Fisher's out to slow him down, and we'll see Viper come in and just pound away, and we'll get Shadow Fiend before he's able to teleport out. Venomancer trying to run away. Earthshaker at very little health, and we will see Venomancer drop. Even though Earthshaker had very little health to his name, we'll see Crystal Maiden pop up to mid lane. Viper coming out, and again, just putting that right-click damage on her, and he will run, but will drop to Juggernaut.
Venomancer just died as well to the Jug with Omni Slash just getting popped around.
Radiant's top tower is
probably
under attack.
overextended there. Should not have been pushing that lane as hard as he was. And I think that he paid for that. Another disconnect goes out, this time by Doom. Somebody controlling his character. Shadow Fiend putting
right now, Ancient Apparition unfortunately taking quite a bit of damage from Crystal Maiden, and will drop the Fishers out on Crystal Maiden and Venomancer. Anti-Mage just getting caught out behind the trees and put down.
Did Anti-Mage even try to blink? I wasn't watching that. I was watching Shadow Fiend in the middle. Did he try to blink away at all?
He didn't try to blink away, no. He was just sort of stuck there in the trees and didn't manage to. I believe it was on cooldown, so I don't think he had the option to.
Interesting.
The Dire warding deep into the Radiant Forest, and Earthshaker doing his best to use those fissures to block the advance of Morana and the Creep Wave.
So we've kind of have a clear picture of the strategy that the Dire is going for here. We basically have two characters who are constantly roaming, Venomancer and Crystal Maiden. It's kind of working for them, it's kind of not. Venomancer's still only level 3, which is a fairly low level compared to the rest of the people in the game right now.
And right now they really haven't put a whole lot of pressure on any of the towers, so it's interesting to see where this strategy might take them.
Well, that top tower did take quite a bit of damage. It's down to about 50% from that initial kill on Earthshaker. But yeah, you're right. It's not a ton of push going on, really, by either teams right now. I think the Radiant's kind of trying to find themselves still.
And Crystal Maiden will lock Shadow Fiend down, the Fissures out, and you'll see Viper come in, right-click down. Morana's arrow pops out on Ancient Apparition, and she's just doing her best right-click damage. Juggernaut will come in with the spin, put her down, and will also get Earthshaker for a double kill. Viper pushed back to his tower. Doom comes up, but it's a little too late. Courier's out, and the Creep Wave will begin to push the tower. They've got 4 here mid lane, and they probably could see what they could do to push just a touch, but with no creeps, they back off.
Honestly, I think that Doom and Venomancer, or excuse me, Viper, could have probably pushed them back. Now that Jug is getting a little bit farmed up, he's level 9, so we may see Viper in a lot of trouble here.
We'll see the slow it on Viper, and right-click and spin from Juggernaut.
And Jug also popped his Omni Slash, Viper being caught without any creeps around, getting every single blast of that Omni Slash.
Ancient Apparition and Earthshaker doing their best to hold the line here in mid.
I'm a little confused as to why Doom decided to go back, but then I turned around and noticed that he did it to pick up an item. Very, very silly and kind of a noob mistake. I think he was focusing too much on getting an item in his hands, one that wasn't necessarily even going to turn the game, instead of trying to help his allies. If he had stayed in mid, he probably could have placed a Doom on Jug, made it so that they could have had a chance to survive, and Viper wouldn't be dead right now. Anti-Mage in the meantime, just kind of getting some free farm.
A little bit of corrosion there on Jug. The Fisher's out, catches him just on the tail end, but doesn't get the stun off.
So 11 minutes in, a little bit past 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graphs just real fast. If any action pops up, go ahead and interrupt as you need. The gold graph is in favor of the Radiant. A lot of that is due to just a substantial farming of creeps over the Dire side. I think the Dire has done a little bit of a better job of getting control of the map and getting some kills out. The experience graph is in favor of the Dire, and I think that that just kind of goes to show you how the Radiant's doing a fantastic job of getting those kills.
There's the Fisher out on Juggernaut, who will spin away. And it looks like we've got a few heroes heading to top lane, but they're not really sure where they want to engage.
Yeah, so that difference in the graph, I think, is explained by the fact that the Dire has had more kills and is catching people out more, as opposed to the Radiant, which is doing a significantly better job in general.
And we'll see Morana caught by that Fisher, and some right-click damage, as well as...
Ancient Apparition's blast just came homing in, and that was all she wrote from Morana.
Right-click damage out on Crystal Maiden. It looks like she's going to get away here, except the Fisher catches her out, and she will drop.
Tower is under attack.
Viper is going to chase.
Venomancer.
And that's it. Poison versus poison, and it looks like Viper wins out.
Yeah, he used his Viper Strike, and the Viper Strike just does
Double damage.
so much damage that you may as well just commit. He's also got those face boots, so he can get in and out of towers really, really fast.
And now with a double damage to his name, he may see what he can do to push that lane. We're going to see a teleport in from Morana at mid, while...
Stun goes out, misses entirely. It was kind of close.
And up in top lane, Juggernaut just farming away. As with Shadow Fiend in bot lane. We've got 3 coming mid with Morana
That's going both ways. Anti-Mage has just jumped up. He's at 66. He was at 50 not just but 60 seconds ago. So
Slow misses on Viper,
Radiant's
and
top tower
he
is
will
under
put some
attack.
damage out here. There's just a ton of rake-like damage, but will be put down. But we'll get the kill on Venomancer as well.
technically, the tower got the kill there. Now he popped out some hefty damage out on Venomancer, but Venomancer was slowed so much that he couldn't get away from the tower and just was taking a ton of damage.
That corrosion does hurt. Doom
Dire's
and
bottom
Anti-Mage
tower
and
is under
Earthshaker with a
attack.
creep wave pushing that bottom tower. And we may see our first tower go down here.
Radiant's top tower
We
is
will
under
see a
attack.
teleport in from
Dire's structures are
Venomancer.
fortified.
Lift goes out by the Dire side as well, and Marana and Crystal Maiden coming in.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Anti-Mage is in a little bit of trouble here. He's significantly overextended,
And there's the blink.
and he blinked right into them. He may get away here, though. They seem to have gotten confused by where he went.
It's a bit of a mess here. Anti-Mage and Doom will drop.
Attack.
And we'll see Viper come back
Radiant's
with
top tower has fallen.
just poison coming down. Fisher out on Marana to slow her down. Shadow Fiend will drop.
Shadow Fiend drops to Viper using, once again, that Viper Strike, which just does a ton of
Dire's
damage.
middle tower
And then
is under attack.
his poison attack just absolutely destroying him.
Interesting enough, Venomancer stuck back here in the forest, just doing his best to hide and hoping that no one will see him. In mid, Ancient Apparition doing his best to push that tower. Crystal Maiden comes in, and it's ice versus ice as he backs off.
Teleport in by Marana going bottom. Maybe trying to prevent Viper here. Jug actually just chasing after. Probably going to try to get that Omni Slash off again.
With
But
that
try-
Shadow Blade up, it's obviously a good choice. We've got 4 bot lane, nobody up top. Crystal Maiden heading down. And there's the Illusion Rune. Some wards placed down.
Anti-Mage still getting just tons of farm. Not really able to convert in that last team fight. Died very quickly. Just kind of ran in and fell over.
Radiant's bottom
Earthshaker
tower
has
is
very
under
little
attack.
health right now, being chased by Crystal Maiden after trying to take on some of those centaurs in the jungle.
structures are
And
fortified.
the glyph will be out on the tower
Dire's middle
as
tower is under attack.
Viper walks away.
Ice Blast comes in from
Tower is
Ancient
under attack.
Apparition, catches them both, pushing them off of that tower.
Dire's top tower is
Viper
under attack.
not really knowing what he's going to do here. I think he's kind of frustrated that his team's not coming in. And Doom just
Radiant's
got
bottom tower is
killed
under
by a
attack.
neutral.
Dire's top
That's-
tower is under attack.
Slightly embarrassing. And the bottom tower for the Radiant will be the first to drop with Morena
Radiant's
getting
bottom
the extra
tower
gold.
has fallen.
I don't think he's actually even there. I think he may have been disconnected or lagging or something again. I don't know.
Either way, he
Dire's
has
top
unfortunately
tower
brought shame
is under
upon his
attack.
family, and will spend some time in the fountain.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dire continuing to beg the question here and just popping up some towers down in that bottom lane, and completely unopposed right now. I mean, nobody on the Radiant side is really doing anything about it, which is it's really kind of sad to see. If they were to get together, they probably could honestly just rip the Dire's team a new one, I think.
So
I
get
think
Ancient
they have-
Apparition and Viper, who are going to push back on bot lane. Doom heading into the jungle, where Juggernaut has been waiting. Crystal Maiden
Thou
fleeing back to
seest me not.
the dire side of the fountain, or dire side of the forest, pardon me. And Shadow Fiend running back to the safety of his tower as Anti-Mage heads down the river. He'll be mirrored by Juggernaut, who looks like he will just walk on by.
They
Just
both,
walk on by.
well, they're both invisible. They didn't see that they were there. So
That I was thinking that sentry ward for the dire probably would have caught
Anti-Mage. No, I don't think he was
just a
close
little out
enough.
of range.
Yeah, just a tad bit. That, or maybe he did, but thought better of it because he saw Doom not just but a few seconds before.
And it looks like Doom's going to see what he can do to push that mid tower, and they will get it down with Viper
Dire's
taking the
middle
gold.
tower has fallen.
Morena sending one of her illusions mids as she continues to push
Radiant's
the top tower.
is under
And
attack.
we'll see an engagement here at mid.
And a very, very, very silly Doom usage by Doom. He popped his ultimate out on what appeared to be an illusion, and just completely wasted a 2-minute long ability cooldown.
On the upside, he killed the hell out of that illusion.
Well, just a little bit of advice for anybody who's playing a character and you see somebody kind of come up in a very silly way. Just right-click them first. Make sure that it's an illusion before you dispense with the extreme ultimate abilities.
So there is a bit of a mess going on in mid lane. Earthshaker will drop to a spin and win from Juggernaut. Viper taking a ton of damage from Crystal Maid, Morana, and Juggernaut. But returning it with the right-click damage on Crystal Maiden. Morana will take some corrosion and will head south, while Juggernaut will use the Shadow Blade to get away. We've got Anti-Mage who is pursuing Morana under the guard of Moonlight Shadow.
I don't think he knows that Morana actually kind of juked down bottom.
He's looking for her right now and just not seeing her.
I bet Doom would really have liked to use his ultimate in that fight.
It's okay, it's okay. It's only 22 seconds out.
That's Rando Calrissian Thursdays for you.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
I really just hope that he uses the ultimate on like a jungle creep. That would make my day.
Now, just because I did that doesn't mean that he will.
That's true. That's true. He's already shown that he's a better player than you are, 3PO. So.
Well, he managed to log in. I think he gets that on me.
Dire's top tower is
Let's go
under
ahead and take a
attack.
look at items just real fast while the action's kind of at a low point. Anti-Mage kicking out the Battle Fury. Pretty typical build to have that Battle Fury out. Also has his boots set on the right statistic, so he's got that increased agility and a little bit of increased speed on his attacks.
And we will see Fisher go out on Venomancer. Viper with some serious corrosion damage. Right click and
Dire's
it
bottom
looks like
tower
he's got a
is
little
under
bit of health on his side. The spin to win on Viper, and Morana and Crystal Maiden are there. Viper will drop. Shadow Fiend has teleported in. Doom and Earthshaker fleeing away. The Fisher putting the stun out on the team, and Doom stunned, and will take some right-click
Dire's
damage to
bottom
die.
tower is under attack.
The blink out from Earthshaker, and that was definitely not a favorable encounter for the Radiant.
Yeah, I don't think they expected there to be 5 people up top, which is a little strange considering they have that ward up there. You'd think that they'd be using that ward to their advantage to kind of check it out. Now you'll notice though on the far right side, not only is Anti-Mage just completely farming, I mean he's going to Farm Town. His farm right now is at 129. The only person who's close right now is Shadow Fiend at 102.
And there's the blink out.
And Anti-Mage drops to Omni Slash. Morana had a little bit of trouble here from Earthshaker. And Ancient Apparition with the snipe, with the Ice Blast, absolutely amazing. And that right there is exactly what Ancient Apparition wants to do in teamfights 3PO. He wants to make sure that he's watching what's going on around the map and kicking that ultimate out as much as possible. It's only a 30-second ult.
It was a nice skill shot, and definitely I think caught Morana just a little bit off guard. Wasn't really a whole lot of choice for her there, though. It was go down the river or face the wrath of Earthshaker.
Do you think she had a blast?
Oh, I think she got iced.
Yes.
Yes.
They're going to have to fish her out of the water.
And the top tower will be denied by
Dire's top
Juggernaut.
tower
Great
has
timing
been
on that.
denied.
And despite taking some corrosion damage, will back off and comes out the victor in that particular encounter.
So we've got 2 players right now rocking the Ghost Scepter. Always love seeing the Ghost Scepter. Ghost Scepter, again, what that does is you target that on an enemy. It puts them into a banished ghost-like state where they take 40% extra magic damage. Interesting choice on a Viper. I don't think I've ever really seen that before, but it may pay off for him. We'll see.
Your candidate for most likely to Ghost Scepter in a team fight, who would be your victim of choice?
Well, to put them in, that would be Jug. I think you want to shut him down and make it so that he's not spinning to winning.
I get the feeling that Viper's a little sick and tired of getting that single target at Omni Slash, so hopefully,
yes.
I think he's thinking to see Jug coming and see what he can do to put the hurt on him there.
Yep. Anti-Mage, once again, just farming away, going to town over here, has 2,200 gold to his name. Speaking of which, let's check out the gold graph. And the Radiant has a fairly substantial lead, nearly 4,000 gold lead right now. And the experience graph looks like it has turned now in favor of the Radiant, just barely, reaching up to 500, so a fairly even match in terms of experience. People just kind of walking around, getting some farm. Dire looks like Jug's picked up the Oblivion Staff, possibly then gonna match that with another Oblivion Staff and finish that Orchid Malevolence. Marana also rocking the Oblivion Staff. It's possible she may be going for the same thing. Venomancer, kind of a confused inventory right now. Doesn't really have anything completed yet besides that Ring of Basilius. Shadowfiend running down like it's nobody's business towards Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage in a lot of trouble here and not even really knowing it. I think he thinks he's alone.
Didn't really even need the rest of the team. Shadowfiend with 36 stacks of Necromastery, just really saying goodnight. Earthshaker coming in to see what he can do about this, and we'll see Crystal Maiden. Won't pop the Fisher out, and will stun. That initial slam damage, not enough to put her down, and with a 3-on-1 there, that was enough of that.
Yeah, he was pretty much permanently stunned there. Ancient Apparition tries to go for the snipe on Crystal Maiden, but fails to do so. Getting that slow out here, may see a Doom come out soon. He chooses to not use the Doom. Probably should have there. I think that he would have been able to kill Marana, and if he was paying attention, Viper was coming down with a double damage rate, so they...
Radiant structures are fortified.
On top lane, Jug is just pounding away at that tower, and it will say sayonara.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So it's interesting to see we've lost, T2s across the board, pardon me, T1s across the board for the Dire, and T1s and AT2 on the Radiant side, except for that mid tower, which it looks like they're going to claim right now.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
The snipe from Ancient Apparition, not a whole lot going on with that. The Dire moving as a team here, which is it's good to see. And it looks like they are going to go and Roche.
Now, this Roshan attempt usually would be a bit of a mistake.
Just what are you hiding,
and this is a big but, it does not appear that the Radiant team has sufficient coverage over Roshan right now. This is a situation where the Dire team is playing to the weaknesses of the Radiant, and they're going to get this kill.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
And Radiant will be sweating right now.
Jug picking up that Aegis, obviously, will make him twice the threat in any team fight, and he's already been quite threatening. So,
and finish that Orchid Malevolence as well.
There's Viper, stunned, slowed, and will just eat a whole lot of damage. Corrosion out on the rest of the team. They seem to wander by him as he disappears with his Shadow Blade. Venomancer seems to know what's going on.
He's kind of running towards Jug. Looks like he may actually end up getting away if he uses that Shadow Blade again. He better make sure that he doesn't get caught by Jug, though. Is he gonna go for a juke? He should have juked up top.
Carefully jukes away from that arrow, but Jug, tasting the flesh of those minions, decides that
gets away scot-free. Kind of a huge mistake on the Dire side. If they were to catch him, as opposed to letting him go there, realizing it probably wasn't entirely purposeful, they would have had a significant ability to push. Looking at total kills just real fast, Viper really is the only threat right now. Anti-Mage just has not converted that farm yet. I mean, he needs to pick up a Cranium Basher here or something, and be significant in team fights.
We'll see Ancient Apparition join him in the bottom lane as the entire Dire team heads towards that space.
Allies disappear.
Gotta say, very impressed with the careful use of the Shadow Blade by Viper. And there's that Omni Slash on Earthshaker, and gets Ancient Apparition in there a little bit as well. Ancient Apparition will drop, as will Earthshaker to Marana.
Anti-Mage in a bit of trouble, but blinks out. Now they got the drop on them there with that Mirana ultimate. Mirana's ultimate basically being like a free smoke that affects the entire team. Puts them into a position where they can essentially surround the enemy. It's a fantastic ultimate for ganks.
Anti-Mage continuing to
Radiant's middle
farm,
tower is under
using
attack.
that blink to the best of his abilities to get out of danger, while also putting himself in good position to continue to gain some gold and some experience. That T2 tower for the Radiant will appear to drop uncontested, as the entire Radiant Dire team is here.
You may see Anti-Mage start getting a couple kills here. He did pick up his Mantis Style, and Mantis Style being an absolutely amazing ability, or item, I should say.
We'll see that in use. The Black King bar put out on Shadow Fiend, put it to good use as he just continues to slice away. Anti-Mage getting 2 kills on Crystal Maiden before dropping himself.
Fairly even thus far. Shadow Fiend in a little bit of trouble here. Dire obviously losing 3 as opposed to the 2 that the Radiant had lost. Shadow Fiend's ultimate kicked out that Requiem of Souls once he put his BKB up, but it was not enough damage to really do much. Viper in a little bit of trouble here as well.
Right under stealth with the power of Anti-Mage at his side. Viper will drop to Juggernaut, but it looks like Anti-Mage might get the kill back. He blinks ahead, and there it is. The Aegis is out. And Anti-Mage continuing to pursue with Doom at his side. There's the blink again.
Dust is out on Jug.
Venomancer coming in to see what he can do to assist,
Dire's
putting the
top
slow
tower
out, and
is
that's
under
helping
attack.
Juggernaut get away. Doom is out on him, though.
Switch to Venomancer. Switch to Venomancer, see if he's going to do it.
There's Anti-Mage
Oh,
continuing
Doom
to
is out on
pursue,
Jug.
Under attack.
and there's 1 kill down. Blink away for Anti-Mage, who will get caught by
Mirana
Crystal
just-
Maiden and Mirana.
Mirana just jumped and got herself stuck.
Dire's
She will
top
remain
tower
stuck
is under
until
attack.
her leap is up for another 10 seconds. A very unfortunate move on her part. Unfortunately, that happens at times.
Some very
Radiant's
strong
middle
play
tower
from
is
Anti-Mage
under
there
attack.
with some great blinks in,
Dire's
and
top tower is under
great way to
attack.
pursue. He will take that
Dire's
top tower,
structures are fortified.
possibly, maybe. His Mantis Style.
His images are doing some pretty nasty damage, so yeah,
There it
it's
is.
like crap.
Dire's top
And this
tower
is
has
exactly
fallen.
why you do not let Anti-Mage farm as much as they did. And they really did. They let him farm a bit too much. I kept mentioning that the whole time, you know. He's getting farm all by himself.
He's going head-to-head against Crystal Maiden, but will blink away.
They
And
get hit with a Mirana arrow, but decides to. Barely gets out of the way. I guess he didn't decide to, but again, this is the danger of Anti-Mage. You know, if he picks up a Cranium Basher, there's not going to be much stopping him.
both teams using Shadow Blade to great effect, getting themselves into position for ganks and kills.
But you'll notice that that's actually going to be diminished for the Dire team. Doom has purchased the Gem of True Sight, and that's how he got caught Jug earlier. Now, they did use the smoke on him,
Dire's
or
top
excuse me,
tower is
the
under
dust.
attack.
Earthshaker, by the way, blinking in and popping out his Echo Slam, doing tons of damage to Venomancer and Crystal Maiden both.
Crystal Maiden not really doing the damage that it should do, and unfortunately, we will see her.
It was just enough to help Mirana get that kill on Earthshaker, though, and Earthshaker drops despite assisting with the double kill on the Dire side.
The Shadow Bladed Viper will get some corrosion out on Mirana, and despite the fact that she jumps away, will put enough damage on her to put her down.
She also attempted to use her ultimate there to help get away, but just wasn't able to do so. I think in that case, again, kind of like going back to the Doom situation, a mistake to use that ultimate there. I don't think she was getting away. She'd already tried to leap and had the Viper Strike on her. She was in a bad position. Don't use your ultimate. Keep a cool head. Make sure that you have an ultimate so that you can turn around and come gank or something.
See the spin to win out to move up the creep lane, and Viper doing a ton of damage. That
He popped his ultimate a little bit too soon. The Viper Strike did not go off on Jug, who was still spinning at the time.
and the Radiant will group up as a team, and it looks like they're going to push mid lane with Ancient Apparition. Oh,
Doom has snagged himself a Reaver. possibly going for a Heart of Tarask. That's what I'm going to assume he's going for, but I suppose we'll see once he creates it.
I do like the Heart of Tarask myself. It feels like a constant health transfusion. Makes me happy.
It's a great item for Wisp. You know, just you get that bonus when you put it on your ally, and they get the bonus too. It's pretty good stuff. Anti-Mage continuing to farm, now up to 3,230 gold. Taking a look at the gold graph, Radiant with a resounding lead of over 5,000. Same thing on the experience. It's absolutely rocking right now. And I think that the Dire just did not, they didn't transition well enough.
The Radiant grouped up together while we've got Shadow Fiend pushing top lane. Viper will close in and we'll put some damage on the tower. Blink in from Earthshaker. The Fissure is out. The spin from Jug, who's really just putting a hurt on Earthshaker. Silence out on Viper, which is doing no favors for him. Was that a...
So yeah, Anti-Mage blinked in, got the kill on Venomancer, and then Juggernaut used his ultimate on Anti-Mage, and then proceeded to just absolutely destroy every creep that the Radiant had.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Mirana pursuing Ancient Apparition, missing with the arrow. Both Juggernaut and Mirana coming after him now. Not a lot in, and straight into the forest. What a great juke.
That was fantastic. They have no idea where he went.
And there he is! And has kept the team occupied as Anti-Mage will blink in, and both Viper and Anti-Mage will do their best to put some damage down. Doom has doomed Juggernaut. Black King Bar out on Shadow Fiend, but that really doesn't matter when it comes to right-click damage from Anti-Mage. Fissure out on all three of the team, and we will see a huge killing spree out from the Radiant on the Dire.
Yeah, Anti-Mage, wow. I mean, just an amazing juke. Put the enemy team in a really bad position. One of those situations where I think they got tunnel visioned, you know? They wanted that kill.
For sure. Anti-Mage also picking up a Reaver, really adding to the damage. You know, 149, 151 plus 65 at this point. He is swinging like a truck.
Interesting choice on him. I think I would have gone for the Cranium Basher right off the bat there, and maybe have turned that into an Abyssal Blade.
And why do you like the Skull Basher right off the bat?
Well, look how fast Anti-Mage is attacking right now, right? I mean, he's really kicking it out, right? Now imagine that Skull Basher on images with Manta Style, just bash City.
And those little mini bashes, yeah.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And Viper looks like he's spotted Venomancer, who will get pinched by Doom.
Has been killed.
Stunned.
Anti-Mage pushing this tower by himself right now, by the way, up top. Venomancer caught all alone. Huge mistake in being there. Juggernaut just now coming back into the game. Let's see if he's able to actually assist with a pushback and maybe defend against this barrage that's going on by the Radiant team.
Anti-Mage's image is obviously doing one heck of a ton of damage to that T3 tower.
Yes. And just look how fast he's farming these creeps right now.
Miranda misses on the long-distance arrow and will do a little right-click damage, but not really catching. There's the silence and the leap. Mentastyle out on Anti-Mage. The Fissure from Earthshaker, and that will put Miranda down. Crystal Maiden also caught in it. Earthshaker is there. The Spin Twin not doing a whole lot against Earthshaker.
I think he was caught on the other side of the Fissure. I don't think he was actually doing any damage, from what it looked like at least.
That's what happens when you build a big old brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Great positioning by Earthshaker through the last few fights. Really clutch with those Fissures.
Once more into the
And they have Roshed.
Radiant team has killed Roshan, Viper picking up the Aegis.
And smoke out on Crystal Maiden and Jug. Anti-Mage blinks away.
Anti-Mage blinks away whilst Jug is using his Omni Slash, leaving him to essentially Omni Slash the illusions that were there. And Juggernaut is once again out of his Omni Slash ability right now.
which is sure to return in just 85 seconds.
Yes, that is certain.
It's interesting, I mean, the Dire obviously roaming well as a team, but without the ward support, they really don't know quite where they're going. They're hoping to find their foes here.
Yes, yeah, you're right. They're just kind of wandering around, just like Venomancer early game, hoping to find and stumble across something.
They'll see Doom, who will hop away with his phase boots.
That was his Force Staff too, he popped that out. The gold graph, if you take a look just real fast, has just significantly pushed in towards the Radiant. I mean, just a ginormous jump. They're up towards nearly 16,000 gold. Experience graph is incredibly similar to the gold graph. Usually these, you're going to see that. And they're nearly up in 20,000 experience.
So they're using those plague wards to see if they can get some map control, but obviously put down very, very quickly by the Radiant side. Right now it looks like they're the Radiant, as long as they're moving together as a team, if no one gets caught out, I think it's going to be a very difficult match for them to lose.
Yeah, I mean, Anti-Mage right now has 6,000 gold in pocket. I mean, if you go to the game stats and specifically look at the net worth, Anti-Mage is 5,000 gold lead right now. A lot of that chalked up to that Battle Fury. Fantastic farming device. Looks like Dire side's deciding to push bottom, seeing if they can get that tower. Earthshaker in an interesting blink position, probably just there. So there it is.
And blinks in, slams down with his Echo Slam, and then doing a ton of damage. Blinks right back out. Oh, pardon me, Force Staff's out. Doom is stuck in the middle of everything, just taking a ton of damage. That Heart of Trask doesn't do enough for him. We'll see Crystal Maiden drop to Doom, though. Fisher's out, and the Dire will teleport away.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Anti-Mage, in the meantime, pushes mid tower all by himself, and then goes to push the bottom tower, leaving both Raxes open on the Dire side.
The Fisher out on Venomancer as Earthshaker blinks in. He's still taking damage from Mirana, and it looks like he might drop here. He will drop. Ancient Apparition now being chased by Mirana.
Invisibility!
But she gives up the chase.
Gives it the chase, and it looks like they lost 2 people, whereas the Dire side lost 2 towers. That would be 3. Ancient Apparition gets jibbed by Mirana.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom
tower finally
fallen.
dropping on the Radiant side, but again, the damage has pretty much been done here. Looks like Dire's porting up to see if they can try to help out and push back against Anti-Mage.
Viper under the cover of Shadow Blade will come in and will catch Mirana out. She blinks away, he blinks after her, and is put down with that Viper strike.
Anti-Mage picked up his own Heart of Trask, Viper picking up a Heart of Trask as well. It's just a hard party.
It's a little disappointed because, if they've ever watched Captain Planet, you only need one kid with heart.
Captain Planet, no offense to the people who created some of those old school 80s and 90s shows, but Captain Planet was awful. I mean, it was like Inspector Gadget. It was pretty much the same thing every time.
I don't think we can be friends anymore. Viper being chased by all 4 members of the team will be silenced, slowed. He does have that Shadow Blade up, though, so will be untargetable for just a moment. He will put some right-click damage on Crystal Maiden, and despite being slowed again, he's just so tanky right now. The spin to win on him. And
you'll notice that he also put himself in the Ghost Scepter form there. Earthshaker ports in with the blink, Echo slams, and just absolutely destroys, leaving everyone else to just sit there and right-click. Anti-Mage just came in and cleaned up house. Viper still in the back, plowing out damage. Everyone on the Dire team buying back.
It's a grudge match at this point. Anti-Mage will blink in towards that Rax, take some damage from Mirana, but not much out there. Ancient Apparition puts some damage down on the floor, and we will see Crystal Maiden drop. Viper going after Shadow Fiend, who is invisible thanks to Mirana. The spin to win on, and it's doing nothing on Viper because of that Ghost Scepter.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Ethereal Blade now at this point. We'll see the
middle
snipe
barracks
out from
has fallen.
Ancient Apparition, but it's not enough to get Juggernaut down. And with the
Dire's
racks
middle
down,
barracks has fallen.
Radiant continue to push in.
And they still have one more full tower, but I don't think it's going to be too difficult for them to hammer down. I mean, Anti-Mage was basically solo taking these towers.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And they are taking the
Focusing
tower
that
from the
top
side
tower.
here.
Yep.
We'll see Moretta come in with the arrow, as she will get a stun off on Doom. But
Who is completely unaffected. His regen is currently at 71 while taking that tower.
and Viper will catch her out
Dire's
and
top
say
tower is under attack.
thank you and good night.
Dire's
Final
top
Rax
has
tower
fallen.
drops. Final melee
Dire's
Rax
top
drops.
barracks are under
We're going to
Dire's
see that
top
range
barracks
barracks drop as well, and the super creeps
Dire's
are